Well, I've been seeing a lot of people online, so I decided I'm gonna put a little update. Whoever sees it. It's the 913, the 313, the 616. The more. The amor. Amor means love. People still don't know what amor is. Where back in the day, the Moors were seafaring people. They basically controlled they had all the routes. So they had all the routes in the oceans, so they were called pirates today. But let's go before that. But even before that, you were called them more. As soon as you come out your mother's womb, when her water breaks, you were mooring. Your soul is the operator of your temple, which is your body. You're the operator, right? So you were birthing. You're birthing and mooring. You were born in a hospital, so your temple was docked, aka pulled out by doctors. Everything has to do with water. Water, space, water's darkness, water's mama. You are the sons, the children of the sons. You're the light bearers, the torch bearers, the ones that light up the ways, the star seeds. Right? People are confused. A lot of people think, they can just pretend that everything's all good and everything will get better. Well, then why has it? Why has everything not got better? You might have brought some. You might have focused on stuff so much that you might have got something that you focused on, but you didn't change the world. There's still children being tortured. The planet is still being tortured. The planet is on the verge of it's over. The soul of the planet is about to leave. Everybody else is about to be stuck here. Right. You keep chopping down the trees and stuff. You don't get it. When the economy is doing good, is when there's no nature. Because they chop down nature to have a good economy. When the economy is doing bad, that's when you have your clean waters, clean rivers, and a bunch of abundance of trees and with fruits and vegetables and animals. That's a bad economy. Everything's backwards here. Everything's going in reverse. Some people even thinking because they learned about the lower and higher selves, which is true. You do have a lower and higher self. You have your shadow. That's all true. But that's why they think they can just wish away. If they just focus, they can just wish away the evil. You're in the underworld. It don't work like that here. You're trapped. You're here because you messed up. You just don't remember. Well, not everybody messed up. Some people came here to fix the problem. You know. Why I say fix, I mean they're gonna grab some people and get up out of here. Man, some people they went through lifetimes for this moment to save some other people. They went through lifetimes of underworld hell, like just hell after hell after hell after hell. You know, at the end of the day, this is all a dream. All of it. Water is a dream. But you're still in it. You're in it just like I'm in it. So you gotta go through it. And if you don't figure it out, you're gonna keep going through this dream. It's a nightmare. Right. This is a school for fools to learn. I always talk about water. Your fishes, Moors, Mercury, More, M-E-R, is Mer, M-U-U-R, Mer. We didn't have vowels. M-U-I-R, that's Mer, Mister, no vowels. Nobody's talking about Moors because they're too scared to talk about it. It always leads back to the so-called dark ones. Anything with the so-called dark ones, they automatically say you're crazy or You're not. It's just not true. I see people. I saw this one video. This guy. He got a lot of knowledge, so much knowledge, but he won't talk about anything when it comes to Moors or so-called black people. But he put up a video talking about curls, and he's right. Everything in this world curls, so that spirals. But whose hair spirals the most? He was talking about the cowlick, and like so-called everybody has it. So so-called white people have the cowlick, and that's their curl, and he's showing the ear. That's the curl. But he won't talk about whose hair is the most curliest. He won't. He won't talk about who can absorb the sun and not burn if they're healthy. He won't talk about the children of the sun. He's just like everybody else. He's turned into Aleister Crowley or witchcraft, and there's a lot of similarities, of course, because that's where you think witchcraft and Aleister Crowley got their information from. Everything is taken from the so-called dark ones. Now, not all the so-called dark ones are good. There's fallen here too. It's them. Right. Not everybody's getting out. Not everybody has a soul here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna say it like this. And I never said this before. I don't think. If I did, I did. I don't know. But most people don't have a soul here. The majority of people don't have a soul here. They either lost their soul or they never had one. And people chasing buku amounts of money, they lost their soul. They don't have a soul. Those people, if they had the opportunity, they would trade all their money for your soul. Because that's the only way to get out. To get out, to get to heaven, you must go through the sun. Your soul. The earth has a core. That's a soul. There's a second sun out there. That's a soul. Those are stars. You're the star. You're a star seed. As above, so below. As within, so without. It's all connected. Basically, what I'm saying is, you better take this for real. This world, even though it might be a dream, you better take this for real, or you're going to keep being stuck in this dream. You've been stuck in this dream for a long time. You don't remember. You think of underworld somewhere else. You're in the underworld. I told you about the earth. The earth. Let's just use the earth as an example. The roots of a tree are in the dirt, protected. Not much can harm it. There's a few things in the soil, but overall, the roots are protected. The branches above the dirt are not protected. They are exposed to all the elements and all the animals and all the destruction, and they just you're on that part. That's the underworld. That's hell. Everything got flip flopped. It's reversed. Right? Now you got a bunch of people without souls trying to teach people with souls about who they are. Now some of these people, I don't mean to say it like that, because some people I know they mean well, and I think that person I was talking about earlier that keeps leaving out, he leaves out everything when it comes to more. I think I could be wrong, but I think he means well. I think he just hasn't got to that part. He has some book that you'd be reading, and the book has a lot of truthful information in it. But I didn't get no information from him. Matter of fact, as far as I know, when he started videos, I already had pretty much all the information either written down on the Facebook or on these videos. Like I said, I don't get most of my information only came from one person or from myself. But the world's changing. Like you see like what's going on right now. Like people so upset with Trump still. Trump and Musk and all that stuff. They focus on the dumbest things. They don't understand this. They can't understand the simple thing that somehow, secretly, the Chinese bought everything around the world. and not just around the world, in the United States too. 80% of all the big businesses, all your favorite brands, were bought by the Chinese. They just didn't change the names of the companies. They didn't change nothing. So you think they're still American products or American businesses? Nah, they bought everything. They went a different route with the war. They did a trade war. Like, it worked. It worked. They are the superpower around the whole world. They did it. But people in the United States they don't know it yet, and most of them don't really even care. But Trump cares because his money's tied to it. And I'm not saying like how everybody else is saying, oh, he's just trying to look out for his billionaires. No, he's trying to keep whatever this was before, whatever it was, he's trying to make sure that goes on some more. I ain't saying that's a good thing. I ain't saying that's a bad thing. But that's what he's doing. Like, maybe it could be better under the Chinese. It could be worse. It could be all the same. But it don't matter. All that stuff, at the end of the day, nature's going to take all that back. Everything. Unless, the Chinese used to be very spiritual. Some of them really are still. I mean, very, very spiritual. When it comes to the so-called Asians, oh man, very, very spiritual. Very spiritual. At least they used to be. But their leaders are losing their ways. The leaders pretty much the same as anybody else's leaders. Like when you look at like Israel, the people that like the prime minister and all them, they dress like all the other Israel Jews. No, and them other Jews would tell you they're not them. Those are Zionists. They just using the name, like everybody lost their ways. Everybody's claiming everybody's claiming to still be these spiritual people, but they lost their complete identity. Now Trump is the only one trying to actually bring God back, even though I don't exactly agree with who he thinks is God. Like, because the Most High dwells inside you, not outside you. They stay on podiums to pretend to be the Most High. The judges stay on podiums to pretend to be the Most High. You judge yourself. You hold yourself accountable. The scriptures said, ye are gods. Ye are the sons of the Most High. But you would die like men. But see, most of y'all follow mainly just the New Testament. And the New Testament is mainly Paul BS. Paul went in there and changed everything. He still went through some stuff too. Because when you try to talk about God to a certain extent, people get mad. So yeah, he was prosecuted eventually, but he changed so much. He said that everybody before him that was around so-called Yahushua, they were all killed anyways. Yeah, they killed them all just for being around him. He was part of the kingdom. But for a while they were speaking about Yahushua even when Yahushua wasn't there anymore. When Yahushua already left, right? And they had every right to speak. They were around him. In Yahushua's eyes, they're all brothers. They're all brothers. Yahushua never called himself a god. That was Paul. Man, he called himself a son. Son of the Most High. He's just like you and me. Yeah, he just had the knowledge. You know what I mean? That was it. Yeah, and Paul came around talking about, Paul was never even around now. Different eras. Paul was never even around there, but Paul said he had a dream or something. And, Yahushua talked to him, and that's how he made himself an apostle. How you make yourself an apostle? Right? And that's where everything went downhill. And next you know, Yahushua died for everybody's sins so they can keep on messing up. Which never happened. Yahushua never died. That's the kid. It was everybody else that was killed. Yahushua got away. Yeah. Are you talking about Yana? Okay, yes, she was. Yeah, she was crucified. She went through all that. Yahushua didn't. Yahushua got away. Like Elijah. Like Enoch. But Paul changed all that stuff. And so everybody's believing, they're not even, they think they followers of Christ. Your followers of Paul. Christianity, Antichrist. It's in the name. Anti. Christ is the light. You're the souls. You're the light. You is the light. You supposed to light the way. In darkness. You come from darkness. The womb is darkness. You is the light. Oh man. You have a soul. The soul is the operator. Your body is just a temple. You're supposed to take care of it. It's not yours. You're not supposed to mark it up and stuff like that. But you are the soul. That's why you can go body to body. Yeah? You lose this one, you get another one. But everybody be like, well, this world is fake. It don't all matter. It does matter. You being judged. You're not getting out. Why would you want to go through another 350,000 plus years of a wasteland? Everything's checking out. They don't destroy all this stuff. Yeah, there's parallel Earths and all that other stuff. And yeah, everybody's going through some kind of judgment right now. Everything's about to line up. If there's war here, there's war above there. If there's war here, there's war inside. And let me explain about how the sun works here. There's two holes on the planet. There's no straight lines. This world is not flat. That was a psyop, and it worked. I get why it worked. It even got me for a little bit. Like, the world is not flat at all. There's no straight lines anywhere. At all. And no creations. There's some people with almost straight hair. That's because it's fur. We did experiments with our own DNA mixed with animals, beasts. This is beast prison. It's a prison for light bearers. So there's two holes on the planet, north-south hole, or you call poles. Out of there comes the light. That's it. From the core, from the inside. The light comes from the inside. The sky is a reflection. It's a dome. It's a protective dome around it. When you see the blue sky, that's a reflection of the oceans. At night, when you see the stars, those are a reflection of the star seeds on the planet right now. The reason why you can't see them during the day, because the morning star. The light, that big light bearer, what they call Lucy. When you see the Statue of Liberty, the Columbia pictures, who else? I don't know. They even have like characters like She-Ra. Those are all supposed to be a Queen Elizabeth, so-called Queen Elizabeth. Those are all supposed to be Lucy, the light bearer. But that's for them. They like to put her as red hair, like so she be kissed by the fire. But there's people in here. There's dark people that absorb the sun. They don't like to talk about them. They don't like to talk about them at all. They twist everything around. Just like how they made all the vegan animals, the vegetarian animals, evil. All the carnivore animals are not evil. And I ain't saying, I'm making it sound worse than it is, but if you look at it, they got the goats, the cows, they got all that stuff that's evil. You see like the so-called Satan, he has goat horns and hoofs and stuff like that. The Baphomet, but now all carnivores are evil. It just circle of life is the way it goes. Some are. Not all vegetarian animals are good. Like eventually, sometimes a hippopotamus becomes destructive and kills everything just for fun. And here's something about Beast Planet. The strongest animals on this planet eat vegetables. And it's not even close. They have no predators once they become grown. Giraffe, rhino, hippopotamus, gorilla. Oh, I'm forgetting a few, but you get the point. They want to make it seem like they just want to make it seem like if you eat vegetables, you automatically you were designed that way so you could be prey. No, you thinking the gazelle, smaller animals. The strongest animals on this planet, the ones that don't have elephants, the ones that don't have to worry about nothing, is the vegetarian eaters. Yeah, when it comes to the carnivores, yeah, I got respect for them. To an extent, yeah, I got respect for all the animals. Out in the jungle is wild. It's barbaric. Why? This is hell. You go be hunted the whole time. You gotta run for your life. You can't be overweight. You gotta be able to run, or you gotta be able to fight. It's crazy out there. But then you got a crazy, even bigger beast that goes in there with a bunch of guns where you can stay hidden in the distance and just start open firing on everything. And just kills everything for sport. And proves he's the biggest beast on this planet. Yeah. All that stuff, everybody's being held accountable. But there's right now we live in a world where people, like, let's talk about the United States again, right? This is a corporation right now. It didn't start off as a corporation, but it's a corporation now. They got a whole bunch of cartoons, like, especially if you watch like Japanese, like animes. They everything's a corporation in those animes, right? And they've been trying to tell you, this is a corporation. You don't have rights here. You have privileges, and they can take them away at any time. Like, you don't. If you had rights, this wouldn't be a corporation. This is a real business. The business, they think they own your body, your mind, and your soul. They think so. There's no way. The soul, they keep fucking around, they're gonna get burned up. They're gonna see the real hell. There's gonna be fires everywhere on this planet. You're gonna see all the good dark ones who are just walking through the fire unharmed. Everybody else gonna be exploding. And then the ones with a little bit of soul but it's completely corrupted, they're gonna combust from the inside. All that pressure. If you can't take the heat, get the fuck out the kitchen. There's nothing that grows. Like, if you look at all the cold lands, like Iceland, they got another one called Greenland to confuse people. That's Iceland too. It's all Iceland. I lived in Iceland. I'm speaking from experience. It's freezing cold. Nothing grows there. Everything dead. Man, you gotta import everything. Iceland don't even have a military because they're not worried. They're not worried. Who the hell wants to go there? It's still that land. There's nothing there. There's no trees. And Iceland gets, like, I think 50, 55, 60 degrees, like 3-4 times out of the year. That's it. There's no ACs in any of them buildings. Only heat. I lived in Iceland. I lived in Turkey too. I lived in Japan. I'm not talking about visiting. I lived in these places. Man, lived in Germany. Right? Lived all through the United States too. Like, don't get it twisted. But yeah. Some people are from cold climates, some people from hot climates. But these people come from the cold climates, come to the hot climates, and they want to chop down every single tree. And then all of a sudden the economy's good and everybody's celebrating. How's that? That's the dumbest thing ever. That's almost as dumb as everybody want to kill their own babies instead of stop having sex. Stop being hoes. Y'all want to be, y'all never even thought about it. They'd be like, no, that's not possible. You don't know what you're talking about. What? Nobody telling you to go have sex all the time. That's your choice. You can't control your lower self. That's your choice. But you won't be judged for every child you killed. That's a lot of karma. You can get out of that karma. Uh, it's gonna take a lot of work though. That's a lot of work. Good luck with that one. Good luck, but that's pretty much one of the worst things you can do. Like, that's why you're in hell. Only Satan can tell you that that's a good thing. Like the Democrats or Republicans, they both bad because they both part of the same corporation, right? But one side is worse than the other. Like the Democrats be like, oh, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump, and they just miss everything. Y'all still, if you vote for Democrat, you voting for abortions. You're voting for grown men to pretend to be women and go into little girls' bathrooms. You're voting for all that stuff. You're voting for transgenders, and you're also voting for pedophiles. Yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but they have been discussing it, saying that they can't control themselves either. They want to put another letter on top of that other alphabet. Some of the people in the group are against it, but it's still coming only from that group. Like all that goes with being a Democrat. So how can you say all that stuff about the other side and just ignore those stuff? It's like you turn a blind eye to all the negative from Democrats. And like they talk about, well, the Republicans only about the rich. Are you sure? It sure looks like the Democrats are only about the rich now. It's like everything's flip-flopped. Yeah, Democrats love George Bush. Republicans hate him. Like everything flipped. Like, man. Yeah, but I can't. I'm making it sound like Elon Musk and all of them are good. I'm not team Elon Musk. I'm not team robots everywhere and chips inside brains. And they already put chips in all the animals. They eat all the animals. They slaughter all the animals. Even in China, if you go in the markets, like in America, they eat every animal they can find except for the dog. They'll go to war in America if you harm that dog. Now, I like dogs. Don't take this twisted in any form whatsoever. I do like dogs. But it's sickening that they will kill every single animal in America. Like the mountain lions, all of them. They just slaughter them. But the dog, they'll shed a tear. They'll be ready for war. But in China, they eat all the animals too, including the dogs. You go in their markets, you see a bunch of dogs just hanging up on their dead, slaughtered. It's sad. But it's crazy how that's the only animal that will make these people feel something, like feel some kind of emotion. And here's something about the dog. Like I said, I have a bully pit. I had my bully pit. He's old now. He's about to be 11 years old very soon. He is old. But if you see him, you won't be able to tell. He ain't not limping, nothing like that. He ain't got no gray hair. Man, you can't tell my bully even old at all. Like, man, but he's my last dog ever. Let me tell you something about these dogs. They have a 2-year-old mindset because they're a mutant. And not all animals have this 2-year-old mindset. Google will make it seem like they all have the same 2-year-old mindset. It's not true. The dog does because they were born in the lab. Something came out wrong. They have a 2-year-old mindset and a grown mutated wolf body. Or a little short mutated wolf body, So, but I'm just talking about the big dogs, really. You want an example of this 2-year-old stuff? So, the 2-year-old would touch the stove and learn the hard way that it's hot. That's the same way that these dogs were. They rush. Somebody comes in at the door, they rush toward the door. Now, all of them, some wag their tails and they just want to greet, say hello. The others, they show their teeth. But the same thing that's always consistent is they rush to the door. They rush toward that person. That's ignorance. That's that 2-year-old mindset. That's 2-year-old. The 2-year-old mindset. They charge head first in everything. They get burned. Then they whimper. They run away with their tail tucked. Right? It's not their fault. It's just how they're created. They have a 2-year-old mindset. They're equivalent to a 2-year-old. And these all around in the United States, people have police dogs and stuff. They should be ashamed of themselves. That's why them police dogs be biting them. Please, because a 2-year-old. You're trying to trust all that stuff to a 2-year-old. People think too highly of just dogs because the dogs reverses their gods. Dog got them the food when they were in the caves in the Caucasus Mountains. And let me say this: everybody's from the Caucasus Mountains. Everybody except for the dark ones. Dark ones, they're not from the Caucasus Mountains. Caucasians, Asians. I'm the Asiatic mole. Yeah. Well, I think that's it for today.